This film is not a gender-swapped version of the Beach Boys. Wouldn't it be nice? But it does have California girls, fun, 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 and good vibration, so it'll get you making pet sounds. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at The Beach Girls from 1982. This film comes to us from the producer of My Tutor, which I talked about a while back. The Beach Girls differs a little bit from most teen sex comedies in that the main characters are not boob-fixated boys, but instead boy-fixated boobs. I mean, girls. The main characters are girls. Let's see how they spent their summer on the beach. After some bouncy beach credits, we open on a girl pulling into her driveway. This is Sarah, and this is her summer house on the beach. It belongs to her uncle. Sarah, by the way, is played by the gorgeous Debra Blee. We last saw her on this channel in Savage Streets. We hop over to a few girls celebrating the end of the school year by throwing their textbooks away. These are Sarah's best friends, Ducky and Ginger, and they are on their way to Sarah's. The one called Ducky is played by Jeana Keough, who you might know from one of my favorite Charles Bronson films, 10 to Midnight. That film is a sleazy good time.
You sick son of a bitch.
Anyway, on their way over to Sarah's place, they pick up a hitchhiker, Scott. And throughout the film, Scott will espouse some nonsense philosophy about staying true to who you are and some other boring stuff, so I won't be mentioning him again.
Ciao, baby.
Go away, Scott. Peddle your hippie nonsense somewhere else. We're trying to have fun on the beach. So after making it to the house, the girls immediately head to the beach to sunbathe, nakedly, and naturally, with a nice emphasis on natural. This is nothing that you can see here on YouTube.
Man, I just work here.
But of course, we don't have to stay here. You can now support the channel on Patreon and get access to spicy versions of my reviews. Link is in the description. Ginger and Ducky decide to have a party, but they don't know any boys in the area. So they order pizza and other services to populate their party with guests. That's pretty clever, and because this is a movie, none of the delivery people care very much about returning to their jobs. So the party takes off. One of the party guests, by the way, is Corinne Bohr. We last saw her on this channel in Joysticks. This is her film debut, and she just has this one small scene here, but it's nice seeing a familiar face, especially when that face looks like that. The party goes well, and eventually most of the guests end up in the pool, nakedly. But except for Sarah, she's still a bit uptight.
You don't want to have any fun. You're a 50-year-old teenager.
I, too, have been described as a 50-year-old teenager. The neighbors aren't too happy with the party. One of those neighbors is Mary Jo Catlett. Fans of this channel might recognize her from the John Waters film Serial Mom. Normal people will recognize her as the voice of Mrs. Puff in the SpongeBob cartoons. She calls the police on the partygoers, but her efforts to stop that party fail because the police join the party. At some point, the uncle shows up, but he doesn't stop the party either. Ginger and Ducky can be rather convincing. The party does, however, eventually wind down, but not before everybody goes skinny dipping in the ocean, just in case in the past 35 seconds you had forgotten what a woman looks like without clothes on.
Now this is my kind of movie.
While all of this has been going on, there's been this side story about the Coast Guard trying to catch a drug smuggler. These scenes are full of some of the stupidest jokes you are likely to hear. They're almost as bad as the stupid physical comedy we have to watch whenever the gardener is on screen. Anyway, the drug smuggler outsmarted the Coast Guard by throwing all of the devil's lettuce into the ocean. So who do you think will find these bags of fun? You guessed it, although that lettuce looks a little mossy to me. Regardless, the party on night 2 comes with party favors. Do you think this will help Sarah to loosen up? Will the Coast Guard track down the missing lettuce? Well, that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. Teen sex comedies succeed or fail based on how well they deliver those two elements. Sexy teens, comedy. This movie does pretty well with that first element. We've got people dancing in bikinis, people dancing out of bikinis, dogs stealing the tops of sunbathers, skinny dipping, topless sauna action, and more. And everyone is beautiful. It's not as nudity dense as the cheerleaders, but really nothing is. But it's got way more skin than a lot of movies like this, so if you're looking for your next teen sex comedy that delivers the goods, look no further. I also appreciate that the movie follows the girls around instead of the more common following of the boys around. It's not the only movie to do that, of course. Hots and most cheerleader movies do the same, but still. It seems like there are way more boy-driven films in this space than girl-driven ones, so the change of pace is appreciated. This is a light and fun, beach-themed romp, so, if you like something like Hard Bodies, you'll probably like this. Although, this film is not perfect. Like an uncle being convinced to host a party, it has some shortcomings. Remember 20 seconds ago when I said, teen sex comedies succeed or fail based on how well they deliver those two elements, sexy teens, comedy. Well, this film does not deliver the comedy. It is at times painfully unfunny. Well, there was one joke that I liked.
Hey, Mama.
I'm not your mother.
Hey, I'm not into incest anyway.
You've got a weird sense of humor.
For the rest of the jokes, however, I'm hard-pressed to point out which jokes fail the hardest. The Gardner bits are awful when he's by himself, and when the Bruce Lee limo driver joins him, I nearly cringe out of my skin. And then we've got the Coast Guard, and their jokes, if you can call them that, are wretch-inducingly awful. Clichés that were already tired in the 80s, stupid puns, no-effort comedy of errors, just awful stuff. And it's not just the comedy that fails here either, it's also the likability of some of the characters. Not the girls, they're all fine, Sarah and her friends are likable enough, but that hitchhiker, Scott? What is a character like that doing in a movie like this? His smug, fun-killing, self-actualization nonsense is so annoying, it's almost as annoying as hanging out with hippies in real life. It's a teen sex comedy. Have fun or leave. Which is also pretty good advice for the internet.